You, the viewer, are invited to witness a snapshot of time passing through these pictures and also see how my idea has developed from conception through to completion. The course has now ended, but the subject has not. The future of this project will follow our house move and document the beginnings of a shared space, where it will always lead to. That's it. Thank you.
So maybe Nadia?
This is Molly and Joseph. Sorry for all the noise. It's really inevitable, really. I'm surprised it hasn't been right. But well, what I wanted to do for a long time is to try and, because they're twins and everything is sort of thrown together, as you can see, I quite like the idea of trying to separate them, trying to document their individuality. It's having a boy and girl as well, the identity issue. It's very interesting how, right from when they're babies, it's boys, chairs, they've got cars, girls have got flowers, and the blue pink thing, and you can just get into it without even realising. And
you earn money.
So I wanted to, the idea, I had the same thing, I got quite confused. I had lots of project ideas. One idea was to document their individuality. Another thing was the idea of just the contrast in the home. I wrote this the other day about, what did I put? I put, after months of fighting and battles for attention and toys, they finally appeared to enjoy and value each other. Which last week I really felt, and then this week they've been horrendous. I thought, what was I thinking? So it is, family life, it is like that. So in a way, I'd quite like to do another project, which is documenting the contrast of home life, which is, I think it's the same for most people, it's families, and just the disorder, the mess, just capturing all that, the chaos, but also the fun and the love, and so that was another thing. So this has been fabulous doing this course. I've really, really enjoyed it, and I've been so frustrated with myself for so long, so I wanted to actually get going, and this has really sort of spurred me on. And I had a good friend, very kindly lent me her camera as well, which has been fabulous. And so, yes, it's been very good. Thank you.
Bye.
Cameras. Read. I'm Barry. My wife and I decided to move to Brighton about 5 years ago. We lived up in Hampton, Bedfordshire, which is about as far inland as you can get. So we were teachers, and so every holiday and half term we would come down to Brighton and have a look around and try and think somewhere to live. And when I came down, I always took lots and lots of photographs, because Brighton is such a fantastic photogenic place. There are lots of photographs of the pier and the lanes and everywhere else as well. We eventually moved down here 2 years ago, and I have a lot of photographs. I have drawers full of photographs, but all of places. And when I came on the course, I was thinking, well, what do I want to do as part of the course? I thought, what I want to do is take pictures of people, because I've never done that. I've got drawers full of pictures of places and things and objects and that sort of thing. But no, well, apart from family, people. So I was sort of eager about this, and I think, well, I feel a bit uncomfortable going out and taking people's photographs if I don't know them. Is it right? Can you do that? So he said, well, just go and do it and see how it feels. So the weekend after the first session of the course, my wife and I went down to the Frieze Art Fair in London, which is a big show of artworks where dealers from all over the world exhibit work, and people go along to look and to buy. So this was brilliant, because there were all these people wandering around with cameras and camera phones taking pictures and not taking much notice of me. And sort of under the pretext of taking pictures of the work, I was also taking pictures of the people. And that's something I'd always wanted to do, because often when you're in a gallery space, you're drawn to looking at the other people around you, and very often, sometimes they're more fascinating and more useful than the works that you're looking at. So anyway, I took lots and lots of photographs and went home and started to edit them down. Came back to the course the following week with my book, which I proudly showed to everyone. I said, look, I've created a book of photographs. Swaps. There they were. I also did a video as well, and a soundtrack, ex-teacher, so I can help myself. And I'm retired as well, because I've loads of time. So I did that, and I put them all together. And some photographs seem to go with each other. They seem to have a connection either through the subject or through the way they look, the colour, the shapes, and that sort of thing. And then it was suggested that we should do an art statement and perhaps even do some captions for our work. I really don't know what to do. I was sort of looking through, and some quotations or some memories of things that I've read or things that I've seen came to mind. I thought, well, why not put some quotations with them and actually work them up into a book? Which is what I did. Which is what I did. So I ended up, I had loads of stuff at home, ex-teacher, so I had a laminator, I've got an ink printer, I've got a thing that these things and I think in 2 years I've not used them, so I sort of went back to my roots, if you like, and put together some books on the photographs and the quotations. The quotations are quite personal. There are certain books that I've read in my life which have had a real impact on me. They're sort of included there. There's certain authors which I really adore. And so they're there as well. So I ended up with this, which I was quite happy with. I was really quite pleased with. And so, you know, for me, the course has been a real success. I've really got a huge buzz out of it. And I've actually got some work which I'm really pleased with as well. So thanks, Eva. It's been great.
Thank you very much. And our lovely Maggie?
I don't know what I'm going to say, but anyway, I'll say something. I'm a compulsive collection of objects, and as I've been doing it for a long time. This is my escape from having to make a decision and choose one idea and stick with it. So I thought embodiment, reconfiguring, memorabilia. Then I thought it was really boring just to take photographs of all my objects. In fact, I've only began to take photographs of my objects. So I thought, yeah, have a focus. So I tried, and I ended up with hundreds of pictures, and none of them were really as good as I would have liked them to be, because Jessup's aren't exactly, you know, the top end of, I don't know. Anyway, so I started, and I pulled things out of their nice arrangements, you know, because you can't really live in a room where everything is actively moving from one place to another. So I thought, I'll pick that one out and make some attempt at the surreal look at what I'm doing, because actually, basically, that's what I'm interested in. I think that's what photography can do better than painting, probably, because basically I still am a painter. So I thought I'll do quirky things with the objects, and I'll reconnect them in a different way, and I put heads on top of something else, and I really got into it. I couldn't stop photographing, and I don't know what I'm going to do now this course is over, because I don't know whether I'll feel justified in doing hundreds of photographs of yet more little objects in my house. So I had to stop at one point, and the top row of my pictures over there is a 1930s figure, 6 foot tall, a mannequin, and I got her dressed nicely in the corner of the room. I thought, no, I'm going to take all her clothes off and do a photograph of her naked, which is actually much more interesting. So I did a whole row of those at the top, and she's quite extraordinary, this Gladys she's called. I found her in a motorbike shop with her feet sticking out, and I said, "What's that?" He said, "Oh, it's some old mannequin, do you want it?" So I said, "Oh yeah, okay." And I paid not 1 penny for it, and I carried this person taller than me down the high street. And she's been my love, really. And various other things which you've probably seen. I don't want to take too much of your evening. So, that's me, really.
And finally, Michael.
Thank you for coming tonight. Take it, this means I have to bring it all home. I think the thing that I came to the course for in the first place was really an excuse, a reason to, instead of just going around and documenting things as I saw them, give it a little bit more theme, give it a little bit more focus, a bit more interest. I know for some time I just sort of did it and prevaricated until one day I said, right, I've got to get out there and start doing something. And I was very lucky, you know, I started off and said, right, I'm going to work around a really small space in the centre of Brighton and just see what presents itself. So rather than just sort of having an idea, I thought, what presents itself and how do I see it? Originally, all the things I did were very black and white and grey, you know, looking at, you know, there's a style of architecture in Brighton and Sussex of taking stones from the beach and putting them on the sides of walls and giving it a little bit of texture and interest. And, you know, these buildings, you probably know them and walk past them many times during a week or a year in Brighton. They've all been painted gloss black. So, and, you know, there's also some white stone which surrounds it and gives it really nice sort of, and yet missable. And so that started to get me into the zone of thinking, right, where can I go with this? So I walked on down to the Corn Exchange and Brighton Dome and just looked at a few architectural details of a building which has been there 200 odd years and looks really interesting from glass, which isn't really stained, it's been etched, but looks great. Right down to this big door which leads into the park behind Pavilion Gardens. And the door is now always locked. People can't drive through it like they used to. So I sort of looked around and explored, and this is the door handle off of that. You know, it's great. There's two of them. This actually was the better picture of the three that I took of it. And you can just see the way that maintenance has somehow failed here, and yet in failing, it's come up with something which is even better. I'm sure that whoever created it in the first place never imagined it would end up in this state. This is the hinge off of that door, and this is just a panel. And yet the colour seems almost to run through it and give a feeling that they are linked. So I was quite lucky in as much as out of about 30, 40 pictures, these seem to be the most relevant to what I was trying to achieve. And could well end up with doing other things from that in the future. So yeah, I'll leave it at that and say thanks again for coming and hope you enjoyed it.